9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM here in the morning. Grateful to be with you. We're live each and every weekday morning between 7:30 and 8:30 is what we aim for. Now, whether we are able to start on that time due to technical complications as today, well, the last two shows we weren't able to come on because of an accessory. It's just a small little white accessory that prevented us from being on live on the radio and streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. But we've rectified the problem. I went and found a box of older accessories. I've had a bunch of backups over time, and I tried 4 of them last night. None of them worked, and the 5th one didn't work either. But I just plugged it in again. I unplugged it, plugged it back in, did a few other things to it, and miraculously it started working. So it's a miracle that we're on today. Thanks for being with us, and sorry that we weren't here Thursday or Friday. But we're back here on Monday. So, again, we're live on CKLU 96.7 FM, terrestrial radio. We're also streaming live at cklu.ca. Click on the Radio Player Canada app, and you can stream us, download it, and you can take us with you. Listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. We're also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the channel and the page. We're also found on demand on those two platforms, along with x.com/Sudbury News and our Sudbury News aggregator, which is sudbury.news. And you can click on the Sudbury News Talk tab on that website, and you can watch us on demand after the show. But during the live, make sure to comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening. And yeah, it's always a great conversation. We do our best to unpack the news, whether it's local, whether it's regional, provincial, national, international, trying to make sense of a more and more confusing and layered, complex world that we live in. And today is no exception. Now we're in the midst of basically a war in the Middle East. And I'm sure what could go wrong there, right? I'm sure that won't escalate into other things, but pretty crazy, and lots of crazy things going on in the world that isn't even at war. There's crazy things, and we were doing a deep dive into some of the plans that the world banks have for us as citizens of the world to turn to a digital currency, and there's a lot that goes along with that. And today we'll also cover that in more depth as well. Will be our deep dive. We'll just continue on with talking about how it's all connected with sustainable goals from the UN, and it's going to change our world drastically as everything goes digital. But anyways, we'll have some local headlines as well. We'll get to right after the weather, your comments, and more right after this. Stick around. It's going to be a great show. I promise. Or your money back. And Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Currently it's 13 degrees out there. It's mostly cloudy. And today we can expect it to be sunny with increasing cloudiness in the morning. Gusting winds 40 kilometers per hour. High of 28 today. Tonight, cloudy, mainly cloudy, clearing before the morning. And low of 14 tonight. Tuesday, tomorrow, increasing cloudiness, 40% chance of showers in the afternoon with a risk of thunderstorm. Wind becoming southwest, 30 kilometers, gusting to 50 kilometers in the morning. So windy morning tomorrow. High of 31 with the humidex. So yeah, tomorrow it's really 25, but 31 with the humidex. And 40% chance of precipitation. And then Wednesday, cloudy with a high of 22. Thursday, 30% chance of showers with a high of 20. Friday, mix of sun and cloud, 22 degrees. 40% chance of showers on Saturday, high of 25. And then Sunday, high of 29 with a mix of sun and cloud. Look at your satellite. As of 3 a.m. this morning, just a mix of sun and cloud there. And that's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Alrighty then. So quite a few of you joining. I didn't expect that many people joining after we were off on Thursday and Friday. Not sure if we were going to be back today, but we are, and we're grateful for that. And good morning, Northern Hillbilly. Thanks for being on. Get food, water, and tangibles. Prepare now while you can. And that's something that everybody should really take into consideration. You always should have reserves. Even if you're on a budget, you can, when there's a sale on at the local grocery store, grab a bunch of cans. Even if the only thing you can get extra of is macaroni and sauce, that's what you want to do. You want to get a bunch of sauce, maybe canned soups. Canned is your friend. So anything canned, ravioli, you name it. Whatever is canned, tuna, salmon, click, do they still make that? Spam. Those types of things. Whatever is canned will last forever, and you will thank yourself in a time when you, for some reason, have less money than you have now, or there's nothing at the grocery store for you to buy at some point. Who knows? Who knows? You just prepare for something, and it won't hurt. And good morning, Nana. Blessings, everybody. Heart emoji, exclamation point. Thanks for being on, Nana. It was great spending a lot of the weekend with you. And good morning, Judy on Facebook. And Monique, good morning, Sudbury, with a smiley emoji with the shades. One of my favorites. And Denise, blessings, everyone. Pat, good morning, y'all, with the peace sign. Marianne, good morning, everyone, from sunny Barrie, liked and shared as usual. And Belinda, good morning. And Belinda has this to say this morning. Imagine reading a book with no way to turn back the page. How carefully would you read it? That's life. Double heart emoji. That's a great statement. That's right. If you could not turn the pages back in a book, how carefully would you read the pages? And so you liken that to our lives, and you're going to live each day with meaning and pay attention. Be present. And Hazel, good morning. Prayer emoji sign. Very needed and very appreciated. And Marianne, happy Father's Day. Well, thank you very much. And all the dads out there, hope you all had a great day yesterday. Yes, I did. And I know all the fathers that I know also did. And we celebrated it like it should be celebrated, because fathers are very important in many ways. And it's very minimalized, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's not celebrated by our society in general. It's probably the least celebrated thing to be a man. Oftentimes we feel we need to apologize or something for being men, and it's not right. Everybody, men, have a super purpose in this world. So do women. Children have a super purpose. Our elderly have a super purpose in this life. Everybody, looking at whether it be father, mother, sister, brother, grandparents, like I said, even the littlest children have a super purpose in life, and we all should be celebrating our roles and what they are, learning our roles, first of all. What is the best way to be whoever we are? Celebrate it. And yeah, so thank you very much for that, Marianne. Much appreciated. And Andrew, good morning to you. Diane, good morning. Pierrette, first step to owning nothing. Talking about the digital currency we'll be looking at coming up. And good morning to you, Pierrette. And Vin, good morning as well. And Belinda, not everything is as it seems. Have faith. We're in the eye of the storm. Sunny skies are on the other side. A little hope there. Let's sprinkle a little hope into an otherwise, constantly bombarded with negative news and things. We do need to remember that things are indeed positive and there's lots to look forward to. Trevor, we, the unwilling, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little, and we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. Sword, shield, Canada emojis. Thank you very much for that, Trevor. That's a very inspiring statement there. I've heard, if not word for word, that before, but something very similar. So thanks for sharing that. Very uplifting and hopeful as well. And Sheila, good morning to you with a smiley emoji. Vin, I wonder what the profits are from unused gift cards, prepaid debit cards, etc. All by design. No, you're right. I don't know how many times I've gotten a gift card and haven't used it. And one thing I really thought was evil was, and I don't know if it's still like this, but someone will buy you a gift card, a credit card for Christmas or whatever. It's a gift card, credit card, prepaid credit card, and you'll give it as a gift, but the credit card company takes interest payments off or whatever. It takes payments per month off. So if you don't use that card, it goes gradually down to zero. And I thought that's terrible that's allowed to happen. That should not be allowed to happen. You go buy $100 gift card for somebody and the credit card, as soon as it's activated, or I don't even know, as soon as it's purchased, they start taking payments off of it. So you got to go out and use it the first day you get it. Crazy. Anyways, I hope they're not still doing that. Denise says, when stocking food, go for as much dehydrated food as you can. It's quick to pick up, light to carry. Very good. See, here I'm going the opposite with cans, the heaviest thing possible. But yeah, you're right. So if you had to take your food somewhere with you, that is the solution. If you were hunkering down where you were and you were in your apartment or your house, then cans, nothing wrong with cans. However, I like the fact that if you had to take off somewhere for some reason, let's say there's a fire, then something everyone can relate to at this point. So there's a fire coming, a bush fire, forest fire coming towards your house, and you got to take off. So now the dehydrated food makes a lot of sense, right? Because it's not heavy and bulky. Dehydrated meat even, right? Like you got your beef jerkies and things like that. So You can have all kinds of fruit and vegetables and meat that are dehydrated. So wise counsel. Marianne says, or you can do your own canning, and that is true. You don't have to buy them. I'm just thinking someone with not that many skills to be able to do that. It's easy. Anyone can do it, is just buy some cans from the grocery store while you have the means. That's the kind of simplest thing for people. Denise says, our original people are very upset with the roads. Upset the roads could be closed at any time, as well as the Palestinian who are Hamas supporters, and also looking at closing down highways and roads. Nothing will move if you don't take care of yourself and prep. You're going to wish you did. Okay, and things we see happening a lot of times, like this war that started in the Middle East. We think it's just things that happen in other places, and these things can never happen here. But no, it's you'll be kicking yourself if you don't just prepare a little bit. What I think is a neat idea, they're called 72-hour bags or kits. It's like a bug out bag, and every year you just make sure everything is up to date. You go through it. You can do it on your birthday. You can do it on just pick a certain day to do it. And you put enough food for 72 hours. You put some extra clothes in there. Put a few tools-ish things you would just imagine you would need if you had to just take off somewhere in a short period of time, and be able to survive for 72 hours. So for 3 days, and that's the least you could have, right? Then if you have more time and resources, you could prepare a little bit more and have things on top of that. So let's say you lost your job. Let's say your income, let's say the electricity shut down for whatever reason. Things like that. You just imagine all of the things that could possibly happen and prepare. Start with 3 days. Could I eat for 3 days if I didn't go to the grocery store? And then if you got that, okay, could I prepare for a week? Do I have a week's worth of gas, a week's worth of everything you need? And then start saying, okay, 2 weeks, a month. Do I have a month if I need it? And build like that. Just start somewhere, and you'll be thankful that you did. I'm sure. Because it comes in handy anyways. So at our place, we run out of ketchup, let's say. We don't have to run to the grocery store. We have some extra ketchup. So we just go into our supply that we have and grab a thing of ketchup. And we don't have to, especially if we have guests over or whatever, no one has to run out. We have everything we need. And then the next time we're at the grocery store, we pick up a bottle of ketchup. And we don't have it down to a science or anything. Like, we make many mistakes with what we're doing, but it's a place to start. Okay, so Marianne says we need to go back to the times of growing our own food, and it hurts those that are against us. But I'll just read what you said. It hurts the globalists. So you got an emoji there. And Claire, good morning to you from Sturgeon Falls here. And so I'm not sure if you know it, but there's a good friend of mine. We were talking about yourself yesterday, because I believe I know your nephew very well, Dave, and we're very good friends. And so we were talking about his mom's maiden name yesterday. And then I said, yeah, I think I know there's someone who comes on the show quite a bit, and her name's Claire, and says, yeah, that's my aunt. So anyways, so small world. And I just wanted to let you know that the world just got even smaller. And Denise, the original people are headed to Ottawa for the freedom fighters that were screaming you wanted to unite. Now it's time to remember we brought this mess to Canada, not them. This is on our heads. Okay, so a bit of a rant there. I'm just going to kind of translate. So going back to the protests in Ottawa and people fighting for, freedom and government overreach and things like that. But now there's other people protesting in Ottawa, right? For other reasons. Lots of protests going on. You got your LA, other cities in the United States. They're all protesting different things. You have a lot of people that are from the Middle East that are protesting for different reasons here in Canada. Things are going to start getting more and more messy with that. Okay, that's right. Prepare. The less you depend on our government, the better off you are, because you don't need their solution. Very good. And we'll have more on that. And it says an error occurred when retrieving new Facebook comments. So I know a lot of you have been talking about Facebook and comments lately. So things are going on here. Bush Plain Museum in Sault Ste. Marie, well worth the visit. That's Vin. And I would think so as well. And on that note, we have a bunch of news to cover, local news. So I want to get to that as well. So see the video from the States. The officer is not wrong. Needs to happen here in Canada. No, did not see that. Or there might be comments that you guys are talking with each other, but I'm not sure what are conversations and what are just meant for everybody. And good morning to you, Jerome, Truth Troopers, and Evelyn. Good morning. I've been busy planting fruit trees and brush. Sauna arrived last week, or as we say, sauna, and finally taking showers every day. Well, that is just amazing, Evelyn. For sure. Sorry, blueberry bushes. Building a tiny food forest for my grandchildren after I'm gone. Now that is wonderful. You definitely have the right future in mind. Building something for your grandchildren. And Marianne, digital currency is the step to giving up your financial freedoms. They'll control your money because it's in the wrong hands. Okay, let's move on right now. After saying good morning to Liette, as I see you're on here, and from Collingwood, and David's joining us as well. Thanks, guys, for being on. Let's get this party started with a little bit of news from our Sudbury Star. And let's see here what we got. So there was a shooting last week. We covered here on the show. And there was a 40-year-old woman and a 39-year-old man that were shot on Clement Drive. Now, since then, the woman has succumbed to her injuries and has passed away. It's now being investigated as a homicide. This coming from the Sudbury Star's newsletter that comes in at around 7 a.m. every morning. If you're not signed up, I would encourage everyone to sign up for the Sudbury Star newsletter. And what's up with all the shootings coming to Sudbury? It's like crazy. And they're just, if you just read the story, Greater Sudbury Police are now treating a midday shooting on Clement Avenue in Gatchel on Friday as a homicide after one of the two victims, a 40-year-old woman, succumbed to her injuries after being taken to hospital. As I'm reading the story, I just can't help but feel how just normalized the fact that two people were shot in Gatchel, one of them dying, is becoming in Sudbury. I just never thought I would see the day that here in this city that we just daily almost have stories like this. And it's not right. I don't like it. And I'm sure a lot of people in Sudbury feel the same. On a lighter note, Sudbury Spartans just kicked off, no pun intended, their season and have defeated the Sioux Steelers 28-8. So they were playing on Saturday at James Jerome Field here in town. And community listings, it's from the Sudbury Star as well. They have Fleetwood Mac. So this is Yes Theatre. We're going to be interviewing one of the performers from Yes Theatre, I believe on Thursday this week. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that. And they're putting on a show about, it's basically going to be a concert, I believe. The music of Fleetwood Mac. So Yes Theatre presents Never Break the Chain, the music of Fleetwood Mac, until July the 12th. Stunning vocals and a live band await guests. In the heart of downtown Sudbury at the Refectorio on Durham Street, it promises to be a night of nostalgia, sing-alongs, and celebration. The 90-minute show runs Tuesday to Saturday at 6 p.m. until July the 12th. Tickets are available at showpass.com, and that should be a really great performance. I know the Yes Theater, anything I've been to from them, or Sudbury Theater Center, just amazing. We went to Jersey Boys, and again, if this is anything like Jersey Boys, it sounded like better than, the Four Seasons. To me, it was just so good. And so if you haven't seen Fleetwood Mac live, I would guess this is going to be similar. I wouldn't want to go as far as to say better, but it could be possibly. Sometimes these things, end up being even better than the real thing. So for more information on that, check out Sudbury Star for their what's happening in the community listings. Just Google it. Google Fleetwood Mac, Sudbury, Yes Theater, Break the Chains. I think it's called Never Break the Chains. Yeah, Never Break the Chain. So you can Google that and find out where you can get tickets. It's at showpass.com. Canada RV joining us this morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Thanks for being on. We always have a great conversation and great new people joining us each and every day. So thanks for being on. We're talking about digital currency in our kind of spotlight on our deep dive spotlight. And I thought I had it right here, and I do believe I do have it right here. So Digital ID, we were playing segments from the documentary called The Agenda, which dives deep into the digital currency that we're going to be seeing in our world. And I saw this interview from Laura Ingram talking about this very thing, and I'm hoping that's what this is. Or maybe it's not. It is. So this prompted me to get this segment here on. So we'll play this. This is a segment from The Agenda, basically, but they're just honing in on the digital currency, and then we'll have more on that after this.
We're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens.
We are shifting to a new financial system, but the general population is not shifting to a new financial system. It's shifting to a control grid.
CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contracts, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations, and also we will have the technology to enforce that.
They're saying we can control with rules. We don't need currency anymore. And so it's no longer a financial system or a currency system. It's purely a digital concentration camp. It's a slavery system.
When Catherine Austin Fitz talks, we should listen. She's a former high-level investment banker in New York and held senior office in the first Bush administration in Washington.
There may be 1,000 models of how it could work. But essentially, you will have, whether it's a banking account or a credit card, and it can be turned off and on. So my incentive system is not you go to work and work hard and you get money. My incentive system can be based on how you behaved in the last 5 minutes, on a 24/7 basis.
CBDCs, as the name suggests, would be issued by central banks like the Federal Reserve in America and the Bank of England, not by high street banks. They would signal the end of cash, and every transaction you make would be transparent and held on a permanent database. Crucially, under a net zero regime, your carbon footprint could be at the heart of the system.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker.
This can be the infrastructure for a carbon credit system. It's totalitarian control, and if people don't become aware of it now, it's going to be too late to backtrack.
In an unknown future, one thing is certain. Digital IDs are essential to the project. If they become compulsory, data on every detail of our lives will be monitored, stored, and monetized. Nothing, but nothing, would be private.
For younger people, often it's the case that they like technology, they're completely au fait with it, they enjoy it. So they don't see the dangers that technology can bring because, like a drug dealer does, you feed people, low levels of drug where it's all fun. And then later, when you have them addicted, you feed the hard stuff and that destroys their life. So in a similar way, all of this technology is currently pretty much nice. But when the central bank digital currency comes in and the control comes in and the censorship systems, then the younger people will realize all too late in many cases that they've walked themselves into a trap.
And again, that sounds dark and gloomy. And that is from a documentary where they're deep diving into the idea of a digital currency as coming very soon and some of the reasons for it. Just want to find the original. Here we go. So the EU is very, very excited to adopt this very shortly, and they're not going to waste any time. And so Laura Ingram here interviewing somebody on this subject. This is what I was originally going to play, but I thought, oh, well, we could have a background on it before this. And here you go.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, perhaps the most prominent advocate of that dreaded COVID passport, was out there advocating that we all have to have digital IDs because the future will be digital. You shouldn't have privacy, apparently. Yeah, that's what she believes. She claims that the IDs can be a real booster to emerging economies. The trick is to build public digital infrastructure, she said, that is interoperable, open to all, and trusted. Joining me now to explain just how dangerous this is, Nigel Farage, former Brexit Party leader. Nigel, this is about global government control and a way to, what, redistribute the wealth away from the so-called wealthy nations to everybody else?
Well, it's about control, isn't it? I mean, this is the most glaring example we've ever seen from a prominent world leader. Von der Leyen is the president of the European Commission, 450 million people living within that union. Oh, and by the way, she's unelected, she's appointed, and here she is brazenly saying we need a digital ID card or app on our phones. Now, bear in mind, France and Germany are trialing this already. The European Union, she wants this to be enforced by the early 2030s and, may I add, backed up by a central bank digital currency, living in a cashless society, and now she wants the whole thing to go global. Can you imagine? On this ID card will be not just your date of birth, your gender, your eye color, your height, your approximate weight. There will be your vaccine status, your financial status, and goodness knows what else will be on that card. Can you imagine this data falling into the hands of bad actors. And if you think about it,
That's
and,
all.
and I speak as somebody who's recently been debanked as a result of his political opinions. And this is happening in America too, as you well know, to lots of people. If we're not careful, we head towards a Chinese-style social credit system where unless you go along with the views of the day, you become a non-person. I cannot think of a more dangerous initiative than this. The problem we've got is we have to ask a question whether our leaders actually believe in our nation, because they're prepared to surrender sovereignty to the World Health Organization, the United Nations, the EU, and goodness knows what comes after that. And the truth of it is, the world will be a better, more prosperous, peaceful place if democratic nation states cooperate and trade together, not give away their powers to unelected bureaucrats. And that was the Brexit message all those years ago. I now think what our little island did becomes a stronger message for the world, and in particular, after what von der Leyen said. We simply have to say, no, we believe in liberty, we believe in freedom, we believe in the nation state.
And then later, when you have them...
Okay, so I didn't catch this quick enough, so... Okay. Yeah, we just want to click that, and then we're out of here. So, again, we're talking about digital currency. Why are we talking about digital currency? Because we don't talk enough about digital currency and the fact that it's coming. CBDC, a centralized banking digital currency similar to Bitcoin, but controlled by the central banks of the world. And along with that comes a lot of control that they will have. And who are they? Well, the ones that control the banking system. So if you don't do everything they say, they have the ability to shut you down, do whatever they want, get you to do what they want, or you don't get your money, get your credits. Similar to, like you said, the Chinese central banking, the Chinese social credit score that they have. So we would have a similar system here. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan. I don't, if I have an opinion that's different than, let's say, Mark Carney, which I'm sure I have many, many, many opinions that are different than Mark Carney, I could risk not being able to access what we now call money, but at some point we'll just have points, and I won't be able to access the ability to go to the grocery store and buy groceries, or even if I can, let's say, as they showed there in the first part of the documentary, was it'll be linked to a carbon credit system, right? So it will know that I bought a steak earlier in the week, and it's going to assume that I ate it. They're not able to tell that yet, as far as I know, whether they just know I purchased a steak. And that is going to have a carbon footprint associated with that, because they're going to take into account it was a cow and it contributed to the carbon to some degree. And so I've already bought a steak, so I go to buy a package of hamburgers, and it'll say, sorry, you can't, because you've already bought your carbon limit for the week. But I'm like, I'm hungry, I need to eat. So you only have so many foods that you can purchase that you'll be allowed to purchase based on your carbon credit. And that's the world we're going into, and it's not talked about. So again, that's where you're wondering, why are we talking about digital currency for the last 4 or so episodes? And it's linked to everything's linked together. And so we're just trying to connect some dots for people, trying to make people aware that what's coming in the future. If you're hearing all these nice, warm, cozy things of you're going to be more secure, it's going to make your online shopping more secure, we're going to keep you safer, it's better for the economy, it's blockchain, so it's more secure in terms of a financial system. The more benefits you're hearing, that's great. That's all they're going to talk about is the benefits, but they're not going to make you aware of some of the other things that could possibly happen, which we're just trying to educate people as much as we can, make people aware of it. And yeah, so that's all we're doing here. And that's all the time we got, unfortunately, today. So appreciate the fact that you're on here. Appreciate the platforms that we're on, like CKLU, Facebook, YouTube, X. And we're grateful that this device worked that I had, this accessory that didn't have to work. None of the other ones worked. It almost didn't work. So it's a miracle that we're even on, and we are aware of that. And we're looking forward to being back, hopefully, God willing, same time, same place on the same platforms tomorrow. And remember to stay aware, like, share, take care, and stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great, wonderful Monday, beginning to the work week, everyone. And ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.